Aki and Popo.
Living in bondage. Yes, between Blood Sisters and Lionhearts.
I don't have favorite anything. I have favorite food. I have favorite colors. I barely have favorite any other thing.
Oh my God. Living in bondage. The first one. I'm not a child.
Right now, a ghetto love story.
Okay, my favorite Nigerian dish would be
Banga stew with rice.
Come on now. Okwa.
Pounded yam and egusi soup.
Beans and plantain.
Is oha soup. Fufu and oha soup. Thank you.
Bread and akara.
bitter leaf soup with catfish and snail and fufu. Proper Santana. Apple.
Nnekedu keke ime. Idi sure ne de mma. Idi kwoi. Ilaro ofuma tata. Iteta iligo kwenni. Eman ndi gị n'afọ. You nwe ike mee things. You understand? Okay.
Good morning and welcome to Business Lens. Sincere apologies. You know how they say business can't wait. We had to make you wait. I'm so sorry for that. My name is Cynthia Agbo. And of course, this morning, you definitely know what Business Lens is all about, bringing you all of the things you need to know in the world of business, stock market, where to invest, where not to invest, controversies, and every single thing you need to know. Some persons believe that there is no controversy in the world of business, but I think that when we look at the headlines, the first headline staring in front of me is, we can call it controversy, because the World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab accused of manipulating global rankings. Now, there have been speculations regarding to rankings. And so if this report is coming out right now, well, we're going to look at all of that this morning. Another headline that definitely caught our attention this morning is on the export. Expert predict hold on MPR amid moderating inflation and Naira stability. A little bit tells me that they'll be having MPR meetings tomorrow. Well, I think it was supposed to hold sometime last week, and there were one or two issues on that. Let's now move on to the next headline we have on Dangote. Dangote confirms refinery upgrade to 700,000 barrel per day capacity. Now, before, I think it was about 650 barrel. Now is going upward to 700,000 barrels, which is a good development if you look at it. Now, June inflation rate dips to 22.22%, lowest this year. And we also have another headline here that talks about Nigeria's public debt may hit 160 trillion naira by December. Now, this report, I find it a bit fascinating because on a lighter note, sometime, I think about 2 years ago, when Nigeria's debt, was made public, there were speculations that each Nigerian probably owes about 150,000 naira. That was on a lighter note. But so now that our debt has gotten to 160 trillion naira, I really do not know how much I owe this country right now. Well, this is the part where I would like to introduce our guest, who is going to be joining me to assess some of these big stories in the world of business and economy. I have Mr. Abiola Adekunle. He is the Regional Head of Business Development Africa, Key2 Market. It's so great to have you on the show this morning.
It's good to be here, Cynthia.
So how much are you owing right now?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. You guys are giving out maybe discounts so that I don't have to pay
promo
the full amount, like pump price.
Exactly.
I once told a friend about this. I said, I'm not owing anybody anything, but they don't understand the concept that if you continue to allow the country to go to that level, without the GDP rising, as a counterbalance, then it means that one way or the other, we would pay for it internally. It's not as if anybody would knock on your door and say, bring 150K. No, but one way or the other, we're paying for it.
Okay, well, we're going to dissect all of that this beautiful morning right here on Business Lens. And I think the one that really caught my attention, which I would like for us to start off, is the World Economic Forum founder Klaus being accused of manipulating global rankings. Now, according to the report by the Swiss newspaper, it stated that initial findings from an ongoing investigation into the conduct of Klaus, founder and longtime head of the World Economic Forum, suggest that he may have manipulated key economic rankings and, of course, submitted unjustified expense claims. Now, it is a long report looking at all the different aspects, from political pressure over the rankings to, questions over the CHF, 900,000 in expenses, to a whole lot more. This is where I have to ask you, Mr. Abiola, what does this portend with when we have such an information saying that there is a manipulation in the global ranking? How are people in the economic world, how they're supposed to receive this?
Yeah, you see, the thing about such news is that you have to ask, what do people stand to gain, first of all, from the ranking? That is what would now maybe necessitate or push somebody to want to manipulate it. If there's nothing to gain, I hardly think that anybody will be focused on manipulating anything. I'm not saying that the accusations are true or not, but let's look at what are the effects of global economic ranking.
Okay.
Quickly, let me just say that in trading, for example, there's something we call fundamentals and fundamental news. Meaning that if, for example, you hear that there was a bomb blast somewhere, it is only normal for that particular currency, okay, of that country to suffer some kind of a relapse or some kind of a downward trend because of the negative news. Okay, that goes a long way to show that people around the world actually respect such types of news because they use it to make their own decisions. The same thing with the World Economic Forum. I'm sure that if they say country A today is number 1 and country B is number 2, then country C is number 34. It is only normal that people want to do much more business and invest more in country A and B than country number 34. So this number 1 might be one of the reasons why somebody will say, oh, let me manipulate this, because at the end of the day, this country might get much more economic activities, much more inflow of FDIs and all that, and at the end of the day, do and get more business, okay? So it also means that some countries are actually pushing, okay, for their ranking to be at a certain level, okay, compared to others. So I think that these two major reasons might be a reason why the head of WEF might want to actually maybe touch on or do mago-mago
As we say here.
with the ranking. But at the end of the day, where is Nigeria in the rankings?
This is where I
Doesn't
wanted
even
to
concern us.
This is where I wanted to ask. Okay, so this is where we may not have a stake at the WEF.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are some rankings. This now brings a broader picture to look to start assessing other rankings.
That maybe they are fake.
Because we have seen several rankings where Nigeria is put in, and we are always the least on these rankings. Now, we know how it is when it comes to our economic state internally. We are aware.
Yeah.
But is it as bad as it's being portrayed in some of these rankings?
Well, with this coming to light, we have actually a bit of an argument to make that it might not be 100% true, our representation on this particular global ranking. Because there was a time, for example, some rankings in the past where they say, happiest people on earth, most dangerous place to live, and all that. And this ranking actually goes a long way. Yes, safe places, almost expensive cities. This ranking actually goes a long way to direct tourism and tourists. Because if they say, Lagos is not safe, for example, a lot of people that have never been to Lagos or been to Nigeria, no, don't go there. Meanwhile, Lagos might be one of the safest places, even in Nigeria or West Africa. So I feel that we too, maybe whichever minister is responsible, can actually look at this and say, okay, maybe we should also touchlight, Nigerians' ranking, because it might not have been 100% fair.
Okay, because according to the report, the most striking allegations involve a 2017 email in which WAB reportedly instructed then the WEF managing director to delay the release of that year's competitiveness report, where we had, like you said, some countries want themselves to be favored. And so it said in the same exchange, WAP is said to have advised against improving the United Kingdom's position in the rankings, warning that it could be leveraged by Brexit supporters. And so that effort was eventually published, showing India and the UK each dropping 1 spot to 40th and 8th place, respectively.
That means that what we're looking at now is not really purely World Economic Forum ranking. We now have it as maybe World Economic and Political Forum, right? because this is politics at the end of the day.
Yes.
If you're not going strictly by the technicals and you're saying, we have to do some favorism here and there, or because of politics one way or the other, let's reduce or let's increase, then can it be referred to as a purely economic ranking? I don't think so.
I think there's even an element of political, because it's been said that this was done to avoid straining ties with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi after India ranked poorly in the index. So this is a blend of politics and
economics. I tell people sometimes that it's very hard, okay, for you to talk about economics, especially, I didn't even know that it's like this in the Western world, especially in the places like Africa and Nigeria, without touching on politics. Because at the end of the day, politics has a whole lot to do in defining how the economics of a particular area work. Of course, people say economics is universal, I agree. But at the end of the day, the way the politicians, okay, of a particular area actually make policies or decisions, or who they put in positions, can affect the economics of that country.
Absolutely. While we are still talking about business and people investing and the right, there was a headline that caught the attention of a lot of people, which is the founder of Opay. Now, a lot of persons actually had a mindset that it was founded and owned by a Nigerian, and they were like, "Oh, this is independently owned," and so it's been saving Nigerians since 1960. Only for them to discover that it was actually, owned by Zhu Yahoo, which, of course, that doesn't sound like someone from Ogbomoso. That is definitely a non-Nigerian, a Chinese man. And, I mean, this platform has given Nigerians ease of doing business.
Yes.
This platform has made people's life, banking, financing, easier.
Yes.
Why did we have someone come from outside and enjoy all of this and give Nigerians this? Meanwhile, our banks put Nigerians through tough time.
Will you call it enjoyment? Because I believe that to a very large extent, when Opay came in, there were things that did not exist then.
Yes.
That me, for example, from a technical point of view, saw that, oh, so this can actually exist. If you remember going back to 2001 or 2, when mobile operators came on board, there was a particular mobile operator that said, it is impossible to do per second billing. They told us point blank that it has to be per minute.
Yes.
Then another one came and started per second. Then all of a sudden it became possible to do. So because of competition, okay, somebody comes, re-innovates or innovates and brings in this level of comfort or this level of ease, for customers, and at the end of the day, now, say maybe it's enjoyment. Fine, they are enjoying, but they have also put in a whole lot of work. I personally did not know, and I'm surprised. When we're discussing, I was like, wow, I didn't know. And why are they revealing it to us now? Because what we are interested in is the product, and the product so far, sincerely, has been brilliant.
Yes.
Has been brilliant. If you are told people that you can check the network rating of a transfer before it happens 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they tell you it's a lie, because we don't even know. You just transfer whenever it gets there, it gets there. Though our transfer and NIBS and all that is one of the best in the world. If you talk about instant transfer between banks locally. But Opay coming changed the game totally.
But I think that checking network was actually possible inside the banking hall.
Yes, but not at your fingertips. The same thing.
Yes.
I would like to ask you, even though you are the one asking the question, when was the last time you were inside of the banking hall?
Oh, well.
So Opay and banks generally, they've really come along with, they've tried, and you'll be shocked that Opay might actually be bigger in terms of deposits than a lot of commercial banks currently.
Well, even though
because of the convenience they brought.
Well, even though some persons will still tell you that you should not put in all your inheritance right there, because, well, I think for some persons, knowing this gives them a mixed perspective. What if wake up one morning and it's shut down? No,
the thing is, it's on both sides. There are people in Nigeria, or Nigerians naturally, that prefer foreign-owned companies because they feel it will be better run. Okay? There are also some people that prefer indigenously owned companies because they feel that, oh, this is our person, and I'll prefer to bank with them. So it's one way and the other. While some people are on the train of, oh, I don't want to bank with a foreign, owned bank, some will say, oh, this is where I actually want to bank. So at the end of the day, I think Opay will be fine.
Okay, let's run quickly to the next headline, which talks about Nigeria's public debt hitting about 160 trillion by December. And then we can also pair that particular headline with okay, let's take it individually. Because I know you have a lot to say regarding that. So if we look at it's almost like we keep increasing. Our debt keeps increasing. And despite the fact that they have told us several times that they are settling this, they're settling that, it doesn't seem like it, because if actually it was being settled, we would not be having our debt increasing to 160 trillion by December.
But I thought that naturally human beings like to increase in everything.
Not in debt. Not in debt, definitely.
Personally, and I think normally, people are not really against debt.
Okay.
The question and the issue most of the time is, what are you using the debt for? Okay, if I take some money from you and say, Cynthia, please, I need 100K, and you say, okay, no problem, send me the account. Or you ask me, what do you want to use it for? And I say, oh, I want to go to the club this evening. You might start like, wow, I don't really know. But if I tell you, oh, there's one small business I want to quickly do, and I should be able to turn around that money in 48 hours, you might quickly want to send me the money. So the issue is not Nigerians' debt increasing, because almost all the countries, if not all the countries on earth, have debt. In fact, our own play. Sorry for my pidgin. while others, okay, we compare us to others, but the issue has remained that, are we developing enough infrastructure, enough government businesses that can actually increase and pay back these debts? That is the issue. If Nigeria takes 10 trillion naira as a loan, and at the end of the day, they know that in the next 10, 15 years, this would have increased in such a way that will be able to service the debt and pay back, then nobody will be afraid of it. But in a situation where we keep amassing debt and the revenue of the country at large is not increasing, then that becomes worrisome. I think this is the major worry of an average Nigerian, because they will tell you that, okay, all the loans we have taken, to an average man on the street, what has been the implication, what has been the effect? Practically none. You cannot really touch it or feel it. That is the major issue. So I'm not scared about us eating 160. I'm scared that we might not have done enough with the money we took to pay back that 160.
I think this is where we really need to touch lights, point our touch lights and start asking the relevant questions. What are you using this money for?
Funds for,
I mean, for something caught my attention over the weekend. The newly renovated ICC by the minister, for example. Now, people complained about how much was spent to do that, and was it necessary? And then it was named after the president. But then I noticed something over the weekend which got me thinking, well, this might be a good business move, because there was an existing amount that this venue was going for before it got renovated.
Yes.
And after it got renovated, it started going for
the price go higher.
Triple the amount.
Which is
in fact, if I get my numbers right, I was told that right now that place goes for about 40 million if you have to use that place. So it therefore means there's return.
Yes, which is a simple one that is good.
Yes.
It's a good investment, okay? Or at least let me say it's a better investment compared to some other places that monies have been spent. So this particular example is not bad. But the issue is, what about the other thousands and billions of naira? Where exactly do they go into? Because don't forget, subsidy had been removed. Currency somehow has been devalued. So the places where government interventions have been going to in terms of subsidy has been lifted, which means that the government should actually be retaining more funds, which actually should reduce our borrowing or taking money from outside. But now we are even having an increase on top of the fact that we are no more paying subsidies and we are no more intervening really on the currency rate. So it's kind of, it rubs off on me in a way, because I cannot count directly that, these are the things that the monies are being used for.
There was a report that the subsidy monies was used for road constructions and the like. That was what was said in the report.
Okay.
And so my question now is, if that is what subsidy monies were used for, then what was the debt money used for? So when you answer one, we have another question. So is that the questions are not answered wholly? Okay,
let me give you an example. A lot of funds were pushing to the refineries, being turned around, renovated, whatever, grammar want to use for it. At the end of the day now, we're hearing, rumors that they might actually be up for sale, that they are not actually working as they were said to have been initially. So imagine such funds that have been sunk into such projects. How do you get it back? How does it service itself? We need to get to a stage where anyone that wants to take a loan, be it a governor, be it a local government chairman, be it the National Assembly, be it the president, has to say, oh, this is the way this money is coming in. This is the way. In fact, the president doesn't have to say anything. He has a lot of ministers that can do that for him and say, oh, we're taking 5 naira. At the end of the day, this is our plan, okay, on how to pay back within the next 10 and 15 years. Because right now, I don't think what Nigeria needs is more debts that are not serviceable or payable back within the short period of time.
We would, maybe by now, our per citizen, 170.
We have to bring OPE into this.
All right, so just to also let you know that high debt levels, developed countries like the United States, of course, Japan, and those in Europe have often, they have very high debt to GDP ratios, actually, meaning that their debt is substantially relative to the size of their economies. Well, Nigeria cannot relate. Can we?
No comments.
We cannot, we cannot relate. We'll go on a very short break right now, but when we return, we definitely have the headlines. We're going to be breaking them down one after the other. It's still Business Lens. We'll be right back.
Nigeria's economy, the global market, what does it all mean for you? From stock market insights to global financial news you need to know. From Wall Street to the main street and, of course, the marketplace.
Get the answers you need every week on Business Lens with me, Faith Dafa-Joseph, as I bring into focus the stories, strategies, and shifts shaping our economy. No angle is missed as I talk about the business, the people, patterns, and possibilities behind them. Welcome to the Business Lens.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
All right, welcome back. It's still Business Lens right here on Rapid TV, channel 176 on Star Times. My name is Cynthia. Definitely, I still have Mr. Abiola right here helping me to break down some of the headlines in the world of business. And let's run straight to something on Dangote. We're talking earlier, Helen did mention refinery is not working. Well, one refinery that has decided to impress us is Dangote Refinery. And of course, it's confirmed upgrade to 700,000 barrel per day capacity, which of course, this was first made known on the 28th. And of course, the refinery was operating on 650,000 barrels per day. And now they are moving to 700,000 barrel. And the upgrade, which is to add another 50,000 barrel per day to the facility's nameplate capacity, is expected to, end in the fourth quarter of this year. This is a good development.
Well, 100% good, because I remember last time we spoke about this, they were looking at even hitting full domestic supply by the end of the year. So they're eating 700,000 barrels per day capacity. It's more than good. I think it's fantastic, because before now, I don't think we've even had anything near half of this, in the country, and this is the biggest so far, even in the region. So it's a good one, and it's also a lesson, to be learned, that we can actually run things properly, locally, and make it effective, make it profitable. Because if Dangote is doing this, Dangote is a Nigerian. The people in government are Nigerians. Other people are also Nigerians. It means that another person or the government can actually do this and even improve on this. It means that it can be done. For me, that is the most important message in this. There was a particular time that people were finding it hard to break a particular record on 1,500 meters race. And when the first man broke the record, because they said it was humanly impossible to break a certain time. And when a certain man broke it, within a year, 8 other people broke that record. Why? Because they now know that it is possible. So Dangote has done the 700,000 barrels per day. It means that it can be done, it can be replicated. Businesses can actually succeed and be profitable in Nigeria. That's what I get from this.
So for an ordinary person watching, they're probably wondering, okay, Dangote is succeeding at this. What then is, hampering the success of our other local refineries?
Well, with the way things work in government in Nigeria, everybody sees it. There is practically no consequences, okay, for productivity or lack of it. It means that there's no carrot, there's no stick. There's this thing that goes around that, once you get a government job, nothing can happen to you. But the moment the government turns it around and says, no, we are going to work based on productivity, we are going to work and reward or punish based on what you can bring in or what you cannot bring in, then at the end of the day, you see that people will sit up. You go to maybe a local government, secretariat, and you might see that nobody came to work. Why? Because there's no punishment. You might, it even extends, for example, to our aviation industry. You go to the airport, an airline postpones and cancels, and nothing happens. But if there are serious consequences, first, second, third time, you see that such things will never happen again. So I feel that the number one thing for government is to make sure that for certain sectors, it has to be driven as if it's a private sector. You must run it as if it's a private sector, meaning that there must be profits. People must be held accountable for the monies they are given. That, we have given you 10 billion. Just like NPR or banks, when you do the local, within the bank, and marketers come and say, this is what they did. Your target is 2 billion deposits, and you brought in 50 million. You will not be able to, you will be shaking.
Yes.
You will be shaking. But you see some people in almost the same terms in government, you're meant to, let's say, build 100,000 houses in a year, and you build 1,000. And you will confidently stand in front of the National Assembly and say, this is what I did.
Yes.
And there's no consequence. There's no fear that, how do I even go? I cannot go and face them. So that, for me, is a major point for any government business in Nigeria. There must be consequences if you don't deliver. Because you are the one that said you can deliver.
So lack of accountability is what we are having now.
Lack of consequences. Plus accountability.
Well, and which boils down to indiscipline. So which makes a lot of business to thrive. Discipline, accountability, and of course consequences for action.
Yes,
is what makes a good business, grow.
Yes.
Let's now run through the MPR, and of course, experts predict hold on MPR amid moderating inflation and naira stability. Now, ahead of the Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee meeting, which of course is scheduled for tomorrow, 22nd, analysts are broadly projecting a hold on Mr. Abiola, I know you can't wait to ravage this, hold on the monetary policy rate currently at 27.5%. Now, the consensus reflects cautious optimism over moderating inflation and exchange rate stability, tempered by ongoing risks to growth and price muscle key sectors. I think this is one. This is where I miss Face. This is one part she always loves.
She loves it,
to talk about.
And Daniel, they love NPR so much. For me, I've learned not to do so much analysis on it, because in time past, based on normal economic principles, you say, okay, inflation is still rising, despite the fact that you're increasing interest rates with points and points and points. And the logical thing maybe to do is to drop it a little so that people can actually borrow more and thereby, douse the inflation, because the inflation we have is like a cost, push. It's a situation where people cannot afford. It's not a situation where a lot of monies are chasing few goods. No, that's not the inflation we have. The inflation we have is the fact that the raw materials have increased in prices, and the prices of goods have gone up, so people can actually not afford so much. So you would think that, the policymaker would drop at the interest rate so that people can take more loans. But we've seen in time past that even while inflation is rising, interest rate is being increased. And the effect is meant to be that inflation should reduce. But inflation keeps rising and they keep increasing it. So for all my professionals that are projecting, we'll wait till tomorrow, right? And let's see what they come out with. But for me, what I would love, is for these rates to be dropped. Let's start coming back down. Now that we have a lot of stability, because I've been monitoring the exchange rate, and I see that for months now we have a range that has been manageable, okay, compared to what was happening, last year, when you could have a range of almost 60% in terms of the value of the currency rising and falling. So for the MPR, I think the projection that you hold is not a bad one, but I would go further and say if we can even drop the interest rate, it won't be a bad idea.
Okay, well, so let's look at what some analysts are saying. They are saying that they expect the committee to keep all the key monetary parameters unchanged, MPR at 27.5%, cash reserve ratio at 50%, and the liquidity ratio at 30%, citing the need to consolidate gains from previous hikes while sustaining investor confidence.
Makes sense on paper.
Well, a lot of things make sense on paper.
27.5% at the end of the day would get to 30-something% by the time the banks actually give out those loans. So an average business in Nigeria that is, let's say an SME, would have to make 30-something%, number one. We have to account for inflation, which I think you're about to tell us some good news. So we're already looking at above 50% in terms of value that you have to bring in. We're not talking about payment of your staff. We're not talking about any other thing. So how many businesses in Nigeria today make between 50 and 100% every year? These are the things we have to look at. A lot of businesses are dying daily. You want to ignite a lot of activities, then drop the interest rate, let people take more money, let people do more business.
Okay, talking about inflation, we see that inflation, I take that back. We hear that inflation seen dropping to 17.0% in November amid stable macros. I had to correct myself. We didn't see, we hear. That's what's being reported.
Okay. I read.
You read by 17%. Yeah. And there is another still relating to inflation, talking about June inflation rate dips to 22.22%, lowest this year.
Cynthia, when it comes to inflation figures, you have this conflict between what you see when you go to the marketplace, to buy stuff for your house, and what is being announced by the NBC, because sometimes you cannot marry the two. But we also understand that there's a whole lot of processes that are going to bring in out that figure. It's not just food. A lot of other things are involved. Inflation coming down to 22% for June is interesting. It's good, like I'll say on paper, because it means that our inflation is gradually dropping all the way from 30-something%. Now we're in 22. And there's a projection that we might even hit 17 by November, which is extremely optimistic, but it's good. Now,
optimistic, is it realistic?
I'll leave that to you, but I think it's optimistic at best, because questions will be asked that, okay, your inflation is at 17%, but does it really reflect, in the disposable incomes of your citizens? Because the whole idea of inflation is, if it reduces, if it's single digit, if it's very low, then people have disposable income because they don't have to spend all their funds, on a particular thing. But if you have food inflation, for example, at 50%, 35%, then it means that an average household might spend 90% of their income, sometimes 100 plus of their income, percent plus of their income, on food alone, thereby even increasing the inflation further, because now they cannot even afford other things. So for me, the figures are good. 22% is fantastic. We need to start seeing it, though, in reality. We need to see transportation costs drop. Somebody actually told me sincerely, Kaduna, a friend of mine, was like, there's a place that they used to take 600 naira, that is now 500 naira. I said, that's the first time hearing in years that transportation reduced. So I feel that maybe gradually this effect might start trickling in, but as at now, it is not widely evident enough.
Someone was telling me something over on Friday or Saturday, was saying that we're not even supposed to be buying rice at the rate we're buying it right now. That at least it should be about 50,000, at least 40-50,000.
Another thing, Cynthia, is even though costs might be dropping, for some of these goods like rice, we still have a problem of greedy individuals.
Exactly.
Even though it's not a major problem, but it is part of the problem. You see that where you're getting this thing from, your production cost has dropped from, let's say, 40,000 to 30,000. Why don't half, do it half? You take 5%, 5,000 out of it and give it out at 35,000. No, they will maintain it at that same 40,000.
I know a person who something was worth about 600 naira, but they said it for 2.5.
Exactly, and everybody will be together crying. So, see what the government has done. It's not the government doing everything. Some of these are actually caused by us citizens because you're actually getting this thing cheaper now. So why do you maintain the same rate? You ask them and they say it's old stock. But when there's an increase, there's no old stock. It's instant increase, they will increase it.
Exactly.
So I also feel we have a part to play.
Yeah, so there's this long-standing mindset that we have in Nigeria that once something increases, it rarely goes down. Yeah. And so it's a perception that we have seen played out a lot of time. Yeah. I do hope that as we are seeing these inflation numbers, printed, we just hope that it would be practical when we go out to do our daily business, basically. That is what we do hope for. I mean, it also puts a question out there to you. It's Business Lens. So if you have an observation, you've seen something reduced drastically in your environment where you are, your different states, feel free to send us a message and on our platform or on our WhatsApp message. You can reach out to us on our Facebook, Instagram, on X. You can invite tag yourself on TikTok. We are also there. Let us know what the amount of things, if the inflation dropping, if it's actually reflective in the market. And this is where we say thank you, Mr. Biola, for coming. Biola Adekunle, Regional Head of Business Development Africa, Key to Market. It's so great having you. I wish I could give you a high five, but you're quite far away. Let me try. That's how business will come to you this week.
Amen.
All right, so my name is Cynthia Agbo. Thank you so much for staying with us on Business Lens. I would see you probably on Thursday, or maybe you might just get to see Faith, but don't miss her too much. You might get to see her on Thursday, and she will definitely feed you with some of the, stock numbers, where you should invest, where you shouldn't invest, and all of that information. Until then, keep watching Rapid TV. The news comes up at about 12 o'clock. Bye.
Nigeria's economy, the global market, what does it all mean for you? From stock market insights to global financial news you need to know. From Wall Street to the main street and, of course, the marketplace.
Get the answers you need every week on Business Lens with me, Faith Joseph, as I bring into focus the stories, strategies, and shifts shaping our economy. No angle is missed as I talk about the business, the people, patterns, and possibilities behind them. Welcome to the Business Lens.
Rapid TV, rooted in truth, driven by impact.
Magic has hit your imagination of TV. A brand new sundial with StarTime's inbuilt technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. StarTimes Sundial TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTimes highest bouquet for free, automatic system update. More benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Sundial TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
From the heart of Africa, where dreams are born and passion is boundless, a new wave of talent rises. In La Liga, these extraordinary athletes are not just playing the game, they're transforming it.
Danny Rodriguez, the man chasing, it's Lamine Yamal. What a magnificent goal that
They
is.
shine on the world stage. Watch as they redefine football, inspire millions, and make history. La Liga, where dreams become reality.
Correro, your front row seat to the most pressing issues, from the corridors of power to the heart of our communities. We bring you unfiltered insight, fearless journalism, and the conversations that matter. My name is Iheanacho Prince, and I invite you to this big conversation table as we analyze the top stories ask the tough questions, and hold power to account. News that informs, analysis that empowers, debate that drives change. Correro, the big conversation. Every weekday at 7 p.m. Only on Rapid TV.
Meet the men and women shaping the future of Nigeria. Get to know your representatives at the National Assembly. From lawmaking to constituency projects, we'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impact they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on NAS Watch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
Hello viewers at home, this is D. Olumighty and I'm here at the Masterminds Maiden Edition and our audition today. This is the platform where we give young mind kids from the ages of 7 to 17 the platform to express their feelings and to showcase their talent.
My name is Uzo Emanuela Kinsiko,
Sadiq Labron Abu,
Jessica Prince. My name is Helen
Sarah Angela Achalaga. My name is Goldie Aisha.
Special Sotumu. I'm Tarila. I am Paris Aban.
Just not Julie.
Let's go.
This was amazing.
It was splendid. Mastermind.
Are you missing out on interviews, music, entertainment, thought-provoking discussions, and more? Don't sweat it, man. We've got you covered. No matter where you are, be part of the action 24/7, online and live.